Hi, my name is Tim Westcott. My official title is a youth officer with the Genesee County Sheriff's Office. I am an investigator that works back in our criminal investigation division. I've been with the department for 23 years. I've been in the investigative division now for 7. My experience is handling all types of cases, including identity theft cases. Hopefully, my presentation here today will be helpful to those that may have been a victim of this or may know of someone who's been a victim of identity theft. And hopefully some of the things I'm going to talk about today will help you in preventing that from happening again. So in regards to identity theft complaints, a lot of the do's and don'ts for that, generally if you receive a call saying, or you notice that you've had any fraudulent transactions on in your accounts, the first thing you want to do right away is report it to the company that you had that fraud complaint with. Once they determine that it's fraudulent, they're going to go through their own investigation in that. But in the meantime, they will ask them to freeze your accounts. And explain the situation to them, and then they'll probably launch their own investigation. Once you do that, they may require that you actually file a police report. Most companies nowadays do, so you'll have to report that as well to your local police department, and they'll probably just require the report number, maybe a copy of the report eventually. And then you're going to want to notify any of your credit companies that there was a fraudulent transaction. You'll also want to report it to the Federal Trade Commission, and that's under. I'm just trying to pull up the thing here. It's under identitytheft.gov. And then, while they're looking into your case, and that most of these companies are good in that they'll issue you new cards or open you up a new account. They'll close that other account out because once a fraudulent transaction has happened, it's there's no doubt that your account has been compromised. What we try and tell people to do when they're doing any online banking, shopping, anything like that is to, set the privacy settings as high as they can. Try and have like a 2-step authentication process to minimize the chance that, someone can take over their identity. The other big things too, and we, we deal with a lot of these since the coronavirus hit. We've seen an uptick in cases because more people are home, more people are on their computers, and that the elderly especially are getting getting calls and wanting them to give people their social security number, give them their identification over the phone, and you never want to do that. And the reason being is those places that are calling that are legit, they're already going to have all that information. So they're not going to need you to give them your social security number, your date of birth, your address, or anything like that. You never want to give that information out over the phone. So, it's just being diligent with that. We've had, I think last year we had 30 identity theft cases for the year. This year we're already at 31. So, and we still have a few months to go in the year. So, like I said, with people being home more, working from home more, I think that's been a target for the people that are out there doing these things. So these are just things to be mindful of. Anybody have any questions?
So obviously, Officer Westcott, where our primary audience here is college students. Are there some misunderstandings or some issues that you find are typical among your traditional college age students that your department or others in the area are dealing with?
I don't think there's any misunderstandings. I think what we see more with the college kids, obviously they're on devices probably more than anyone else. And I think it's just, being cognizant of what they're doing while they're online, like I said, and not providing, that personal information over these devices. Actually, utilizing the passwords. Everybody tells you they have a different password for everything, and that's next to impossible, unless you're, willing to carry a sheet around with you or have it somewhere where you can readily access it. But you don't want your passwords to be password or something simple like that. Make it something that's unique to only you and you alone, and that no one else knows about it. And also, not sharing of any passwords or personal information with anyone. That's another big thing that we see with the kids these days, is that they give out that personal information to their friends and that, and not thinking anything, a friend is going to use it against them. But at times, that those friendships, don't work out in that, and now you've got, that person has all your information. So you need to be very careful about who you're telling your PIN numbers to, or your passwords to, or any type of personal information.
Thank you. Do we have questions from others?
One question that we got passed along to us, so I'll share with you, was some students had mentioned that their elderly relatives obviously got called with their, claiming to be them. What's your recommendation for them to deal with, to try to educate their elderly loved ones to not fall for those scams?
Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult, situation. We do have, it's called the grandparents, scam, saying that they've been arrested, they've been in jail, send money. I think the best way that we've told us, kids to approach it is to talk to their grandparents and parents as well, and just make sure that, if they ever do get a call like that, to actually contact their grandchild, right away, to see if it's legit or not. I mean, it's a classic scam. They're not legitimate. The difficulty is, obviously some of the elderly suffer from dementia, from Alzheimer's. So it makes it difficult at times, and these people are very good at trying to confuse them. But the grandparents should recognize right away, what their grandchild calls them. If their grandchild calls them Mimi and not, grandma, that should be an indicator right there that it's not your grandchild. So, if the grandparents, can question some of those things, or recognize that, then that's great. But if for nothing else, if they have the ability to, contact that grandchild right away, then that would be the best way to go about it.
And I guess the last question that I've been posed that I'll pass along to you is, do you ever recommend that someone pays the ransom when their computer is infected?
No. A lot of times through these things, people will make threats to people, and say they know where they live, say they know this, they know that, they're going to come get them if they don't pay it. It's never happened in my 20 plus years working here. It hasn't happened. Could it happen? I guess anything's possible, but for the most of these types of scams is, they're sending it out to hundreds, if not thousands of people all at once. They're sending these robocalls out, type of thing. So the chances of them following through. I had a case a few years ago. People were calling a family in one of our local towns, had Jamaican accents, made the threats, did everything else. And ultimately, there no harm was done or anything. We finally were able to just block everything, take care of the accounts that were compromised, and that's as far as it went. Generally, these people are nowhere near the area. They're doing everything either over the phone or online, and they don't really know where you live, or they're not going to attempt to make contact. They're looking for that person that they can get that easy, quick money from. And, you know, anybody that usually calls it into question, they may try and make some threats, but I haven't personally had anyone ever follow through with that. But what I will say is if something like that does happen, you want to contact your local authorities as soon as possible.